Leaving Alguestro, I continue west along the Gibb River Road to Home Valley Station, then Allan Bray Homestead and the Drysdale River Station, and head north to the Mitchell Plateau. Returning to the Gibb River Road, I spend a few days at each of Mount Elizabeth Station, Manning Gorge, Charnley River Station, Mornington Wilderness Camp, King Leopold Ranges National Park, Windjana Gorge National Park, and finishing at Burwood Downs.
Welcome to episode 7, part 2. I've made my way into the Charnley River Wilderness Camp. It's the old Beverly Hills station and it's now run by Australian Wildlife. And it's an absolutely beautiful place. Best of all, no caravans allowed, so there's very few people here. It's a sanctuary, so they're attempting to remove all of the feral animals and restore some of the native flora and fauna. But I've got a few days here. There's many gorges to explore. I've walked into the Paradise Pool, and I have to say this is my type of place. There's no one else here. I've got pretty much the entire place to myself and enjoying it. So stay tuned and hopefully keep an eye out for some more spectacular photographs, I hope.
This good-looking fellow is the helmeted friarbird. And here is a white-gapped honeyeater.
Well, that handsome fellow was definitely a macro illegitimus. I'm just hoping he was an olive python and not a king brown. He was pretty big, and unfortunately he's crawled up on the only track out of here in amongst all the spinifex, and I hate walking through spinifex. So I think I might sit here for a little while longer, have a drink, and hopefully wait for him to bugger off somewhere else.
It turns out that my reptilian friend was not what I hoped and what I feared. After study of my comprehensive "What Critter Is That?" library, he was a king brown or a mulga snake, potentially one of the most deadly snakes in the country. They deliver a phenomenal amount of venom, and he was a big fella. So I was pretty happy to get through that spinifex without encountering him a second time. So now I find this nice little water hole here, lots of life, so I'll sit quietly here and hopefully get some photos.
The magnificent rainbow bee-eater. And a little agile rock wallaby. Here is a tawny frogmouth and a brolga.
Another glorious morning and another beautiful spot. This is called the Donkey Pools on Charnley River. Still quite early in the morning, and I'll sit here for a while, do some photography. Although after yesterday's encounter, I'm a little bit jumpy. As I approached the pool, something big splashed in the water. As I walked along the edge, there was something rustling away through the grass. So I'm stepping very gingerly at the moment. But again, an absolutely stunning spot.
No BWCs or corrugations on this road.
I've climbed up Mount something or other, which is not really a mountain, just a massive pile of rocks in the middle of nowhere on the Charnley River Conservation Reserve. In the far distance is the Artesian Ranges. It's the only place in the continent that hasn't suffered mammal extinctions since European settlement. So they've set up a research station there, and some amazing facts from it: that feral cats kill 12.5 million of our mammals every night. Now, those figures are obviously unsustainable, and they're working on ways on how best to control that. But an amazing vista before us. This was the old Beverley Springs station as far as the eye can see. So pretty good day, and plenty of other places to visit today. I've just walked into Windjana Gorge. I take it you can hear the waterfall behind me, probably drowning me out. Absolutely beautiful place. Got to climb down some ladders to get down into the gorge, but it's well worth the effort. And I just put the drone up, and hopefully I've captured some really nice images there. So looking forward to seeing them. I'm going to make my way back out now and head off to another gorge. blue-winged kookaburra is another one of my favourites. Here is a double-barred finch. This is a northern rosella. And these are crimson finches. These little rainbow bee eaters are very hard to catch a photo of because they only sit still for a second or two before darting off to supposedly catch a bee. So they look magnificent when they fly with their iridescent wings flashing. So I thought I'd take a movie of one and show one flying. So he's going to take off in a minute. Any minute now? Any minute? He's not going to do it, is he? A golden-backed honey eater, a peaceful dove, and my favourite, the blue-winged kookaburra. I've just set up camp at the Mornington Wilderness Park. It's run by AWC. It takes about 2 hours to drive in. I did have a bit of a problem. The car blew off the turbo hot pipe and had to wait a while for it to cool down so I could put it all back together, but made it in here okay. I've got a very secluded camping ground here. It's 1.5 kilometres away from the base office, which has a bar and a restaurant. So a lot of luxuries. The showers are about maybe 1 kilometre away, but I'm just about to do one of the walks here, which is the Annie Creek walk, and hopefully get some more rare birds and whatever else happens to come my way. And tomorrow I'm going to do some of the 4-wheel drive trips out to the gorges, and looking forward to that as well. Beautiful day. It's actually quite warm. First time it's been this hot for quite a few weeks now. So looking forward to my walk, and hopefully I'll have some nice photos to show you. Good morning and welcome to Sir John Gorge. This is in the Mornington Wilderness camp, and this is what I drove out to the Kimberleys to see. Not car parks with 300 people in them and gorges with 400 tourists having a dip. I'm the only one here, and it's absolutely spectacular. The birds are singing, there's wildlife around. So I'm going to have a bit of an explore, take some pictures and enjoy myself. I'm sure that these images just can't do justice to just how beautiful this place is. It's just absolutely spectacular, and it's such a privilege to be able to experience in such solitude. It's just amazing. I'm really enjoying this, and the wildlife's all around, and the only thing that's not around is humans, which is pretty good for me. Give you a bit of a look around. Sun's in my eyes, sorry. I've walked into this waterhole on Mornington Wilderness camp, and as you can see, it's quite beautiful. Generally not a good idea to stand this close to water in the Kimberleys, but there aren't any saltwater crocs here. I'm just staggered that the number of people that travel the Gibb River Road and never actually get to see places like this. The road itself actually isn't that exciting, and there's not too many scenic places along it, but with just a little bit of effort you can get in and experience the true Kimberley. Personally, I'm pretty happy that they just drive down the road and tick it off their list, because it leaves places like this all to me. Have a listen. What do you hear? Nothing. Absolutely wonderful. The only bad thing is, if I haven't mentioned it before, I hate walking through spinifex. But the views are worth it. I'm on my way into Diamond Gorge and thought I'd stop here at this lookout. The geology here is quite amazing. The Fitzroy River carving its way, leaving these incredible cliffs behind me. So I'll just have a bit of a pan around so you can have a look. I'm here at Windjana Gorge, and the cliff face behind me is actually part of an ancient Great Barrier Reef from 360 million years ago. It's 2 kilometres deep, and the gorge we're in has been eroded by the river. So it's actually not rock, it's reef, made by reef creatures a very long time ago. While this is what the gorge should be famous for, what most tourists come here to see is the freshwater crocs that lying everywhere and swimming up and down the gorge. Unfortunately, since the advent of smart cameras, a new trend has developed. This trend is the selfie with a croc. Generally, the technique is to sneak up on the basking crocodile, and you do this by wearing bright pink floppy boardies, a t-shirt with an amusing caption, and fluorescent green sunglasses, so the croc's obviously not aware that you're there. You then get ridiculously close and do a gesture to show how cool you are with a croc, something like... Now, our tourist has been informed that there's been no reported instances of a freshwater crocodile stalking, capturing and eating a human being. However, there are numerous instances of freshwater crocs, once they're pissed off, latching hold of a human being, giving a good chew and then spitting them out just before death, causing horrendous industries. So these tourists tend to be young, male, and either two categories, the Brit tourist or the suburban bogan. Now this a couple of things that they didn't probably realise. One, that the crocs do bite, even though there's pictures everywhere saying here's what a croc does to a leg, a foot, an arm. The other thing is, when motivated, a freshwater croc can hit 20 kilometres an hour. Now, that's faster than most bogans or Brit tourists running up a riverbank in thongs. So, probably an unwise thing to do, but the majority of them seem to get away with it. Good on them.